Leonie. Now she is one of two of our California sea lions here. She lives here with her half-sister Kira, and she is incredibly friendly, but just to be fair and make it nice, can you all give her a wave and show her that you want to be her friend as well? Is that a good enough wave? Do they get one back then? Very nice. So they are very polite girls here at the park. So as I said, she lives here with her half-sister, and they're California sea lions. They're not seals. People do confuse the two. They are quite similar. They're part of the same family, so they're cousins, if you want to think of it that way, if that makes it a little bit easier. But they're not the same. They are different species in their own right. Now, we'll tell you a couple of differences, so hopefully you'll be able to know what you're looking at if you do see any in other parks or out and about in the wild. A couple of things you can look for. The first one, it's not the most obvious, but it's their ears. So Leonie is pointing her ears out for you. She's got an ear on each side of the head, just like we do. I'm still pointing at mine. Can you still point at yours? So they've got external ear flaps on the side of their head, known as their pinna. So that's just like you and I. They have an ear flap sticking out on the side of their head. Now seals, of course, do have ears, but they don't have anything external that you can see. So if you're looking at them and you can see something sticking out, you're looking at a sea lion. Seals have ears. It's just a hole in the side of their head, and it's covered with fur. So if Leonie wants to go a little bit closer to you, there we go. You can have a little look at her, and you can see her little ears sticking out on the side of her head. So if you are close enough to be able to see that, you are looking at a sea lion. Now there's some more differences though, because granted you do have to be quite close for that one, and you have to get quite a good view. So if you see them moving around in the water, they move differently. So sea lions, all of their strength is in their upper body. They've got these massive front flippers. Can we stand back up onto our stand? They've got these massive front flippers that she will hopefully love to show you. Now her flippers are about the size of my arm, whereas a seal's front flipper is about the size of my hand. So there's a big size difference there for when you're looking at them. And that's because of, as I said, that sea lions, all of their strength is in their upper body. So when they're swimming around in the water, they'll use these big front flippers, they'll sweep them together, and then they'll use their back flippers to steer themselves, whereas seals are the opposite way around. All of their strength is in their lower body. So when they're swimming around, I'll show you how they swim around. So a seal, instead, they wiggle their back flippers from side to side, a bit like a fish, and that's how they use all their power. They propel themselves through, and they use their small front flippers for steering themselves. Oh, sorry, that was about 5 fish at once. That wasn't an awful throw. Now, when they're on land as well, they do move differently, because obviously you might not be able to see them swimming around in the water. As you can see with Leonie, as she's walking around, she's quite agile when she's moving around on land. If she wants to, she can tuck her back flippers up underneath her. She can effectively walk on all fours. But if she's feeling a little bit lazier, she will drag those back flippers as well, or if she's being a bit energy efficient, is that a better phrase? Now seals do move differently as well. Leonie has never ever met a seal, but she does do a very convincing impression on one. So just for the reference, so you can know what you're looking for, if you ever see them moving on land and it's moving a little bit like this, you're looking at a seal. So they move like a giant caterpillar, wiggling around on their tummies because they haven't got those big front flippers that a sea lion like Leonie has. Now sea lions, as I said, they're incredibly strong. Leonie weighs just short of 100 kilos. She weighs between 90 and 100 kilos. And she can hold all of that weight on those two front flippers. She can do a sea lion version of a handstand, or these guys, we call it a flipper stand. So that is pretty impressive. Can we see a slightly longer one? That was a very good one. She can have a round of applause for that. That was very impressive. Good job. So that just show you the strength that they have, and it means they can swim very well. They've got lots of power to be able to propel themselves through the water. Now as she's swimming around, when she's swimming, obviously she'll sweep her flippers and then she'll put them against her side. So she's very streamlined and she's a bit like a torpedo. Now swimming for a sea lion isn't something you actually know how to do. It's a little bit embarrassing. When you're a baby sea lion, you don't know how to swim. So that's because they're mammals, just like you and I. That means they have fur, they breathe air, and because of that they give birth to live young, so they have to give birth on land. Now, they might come up to actual land to do that, or it might be an oil rig, a jetty, anything like that, but they can't give birth in the water because baby sea lions don't know how to hold their breath. Now, because of this, something we do say is if you ever do see a lot of them, sea lions of this species, California sea lions, are generally, they're born throughout June, July, the summer months, so breeding season is sort of from the mid-spring right through to summer. So if you ever are anywhere lucky enough to see these guys out and about in the wild, especially if there's large groups of them at breeding time, please don't go near them, as they are incredibly dangerous and they can be very territorial and they can be very, very feisty, particularly as well if the mum does have pups. So please, one thing to make sure that here the girls are very friendly. These guys are captive born, captive bred, and we spend a lot of time with them. But they are still wild animals. They have a very big mouth, very sharp teeth in there. So do just be careful if you ever are out and about to see them. But so when the mum is going to give birth, she'll give birth on land. And then whenever she thinks the pups are old enough, she'll take them down to the water's edge and she'll teach them to first of all hold their breath. And then she'll also teach them to look in the water and check for any potential predators. So sea lions, although they're predators themselves, they do have some predators that would try to catch them if they could get hold of them. Now, the girls here love to play a bit of charades with you, so we'll see if Leonie can give a good enough impression that you can tell what she is trying to be. I think her flipper is a little bit of a clue. Can anyone tell what she's trying to be? Shout it out! Now, it is the bull sharks, and some species of shark are very harmless. Not all sharks will eat sea lions, not all sharks will eat people. But of course, the notorious great white shark and the tiger shark, and as well the fellow marine mammal, the killer whale, would try to eat a sea lion if they could get hold of them. So, because with them being mammals, that means they need to breathe air, so they will spend a lot of their time on land, they won't spend all of their time in the water, and they don't need to be wet either. So what they'll do, a sea lion like Leonie will go into the water to catch her fish, catch her food, and whenever she's managed to get her food, she will come back onto dry land, where she's nice and safe, because they haven't really got any natural predators, particularly as adults. Now, sometimes the only predator they'll have on land when they're pups, sometimes things like foxes might try to take pups, but other than that, they're pretty safe, so they'll spend most of their time up on the land. If it's nice weather here in the park, you'll see the girls sunbathing. They go all fluffy, they go a bit of a lighter colour, and you can see their lovely fluffy fur. They're a bit like a big dog when they're all dried out. A lot of people think they're slippery and slimy, but they are basically a sea dog. Now you'll see, whenever we're doing bits of training with her, I'm asking her to do a behaviour, and if she does it, she's getting a reward. Now that is because that's how we train the girls. It's part of a training technique called positive reinforcement. It's how we train all of the animals here at the park. Now you saw a couple of points. Leonie's gone, she's disappeared off back into the water, she's maybe swum off, she's not done something that I asked her to do. But we never ever punish her whenever they do that. The training is always on their terms. So if the girls want to just hang out in the pool and don't want to come out for a train and a feed, that's fine. We never withhold food from them, and they get all of their food at different stages throughout the day. So they get either 4 or 5 meals per day. So if they don't want to come out for one, we'll just give them it later on at a different time. So there's never any pressure. We can never force them to come out and hang out and do some training, and we do never punish them. If we punish these guys, all that would happen is Leonie would learn that we weren't a very nice person, and she wouldn't want to come do training with us. She wouldn't have very good welfare either if she was scared of us. So it's really important. Positive reinforcement training is really, really important. Now, some of the behaviours, as you've seen, maybe are a little bit sillier, but some of them are really important. So we work really closely with our vets, and the girls are trained to do lots of things to allow us to check their behaviour, to check their health, and check they're okay. So as you saw, they're trained to open their mouth on cue, so we can have a nice look inside and check that there's nothing stuck, nothing sore, nothing like that. These guys have the bite force of a grizzly bear, so if she wasn't trained to do that and we had to try and prise her jaws open, that wouldn't be very nice for her, and it would be very dangerous for us too. So this training is really important. You'll see as well, they're trained to present different body parts, so she'll let me have a look at her flippers. If I want to have a look at them, I can have a look, check there's no cuts. They'll roll over, so we can check their tummies, check they're nice and healthy too. They'll fully roll over if we want to have a proper look everywhere. They'll present all their body parts, so we can check they're nice and healthy. And because we work with our vets as well, and because of the training we do, the vets can come, ask her for these behaviours, and she'll do them for them too. So it means it's not stressful for her, it's nice and easy, and again, it just improves that welfare to make sure that we have the happiest and healthiest sea lions that we can have here at the park. Now, another threat, unfortunately, that sea lions do face, well, not just sea lions, other animals as well, such as seals, anything that's living in the water really, is pollution. Now, I'm sure you've all heard lots and lots and lots about plastic pollution in our oceans, but unfortunately, it is still a massive problem. As humans, we're putting thousands of tons of plastic a year into the oceans. Now, sea lions are intelligent. but they're not quite intelligent enough to know what not to eat, and sometimes if they're going to get tangled up in things too. So don't follow my example of carelessly throwing things around into the water. Hopefully you can follow Leonie's lovely example. If you have any rubbish, make sure you pop it into the bin, or even better, into the recycling bin, just to try and help protect lots of species. California sea lions, so in the wild you could find Leonie's species in California, as the name suggests, but you could also find her along the coasts as far north as Canada and as far south as the Gulf of Mexico, and everywhere in between as well. They're doing really, really well. But some species aren't doing too well because of these different threats, because of predators, because of pollution, things like that. So it's a very easy way just to try and keep lots of species nice and healthy. Now, another thing as well, these guys, you might have seen I've been throwing a bits of food, it's bits of fish in this case. These guys are strict carnivores, so unlike some animals that may be a bit of meat and a bit of maybe vegetation, sea lions are strict carnivores, they have to eat meat to survive. Now in their case, they're opportunistic feeders, so they'll pretty much eat whatever they can get. But generally they'll prefer to get fish, squid, eel, octopus, the odd seabird if they can get hold of it, sometimes cuttlefish, things like that too. And they are very well equipped to be able to do so as well. So you'll see she's got that big jaw that we've already talked about. She's got these whiskers on the side of her nose as well, which are able to detect any vibrations. So as a fish is swimming, a bit like a seal does, it moves its tail. That creates ripples in the water, and then the sea lion's whiskers can pick up those ripples. So even if Leonie was in the wild and she happened to have gone blind, or the water was just too dark to be able to see, she'd be able to find her food using those whiskers. So they're very, very well adapted indeed. And they'll do another behaviour known as porpoising or free jumping, which is pretty much as it sounds. How can people imagine dolphins and porpoises to swim? So if she was trying to hide from any predators or she was trying to catch her food, she'll do this behaviour, sometimes if she's just excited as well. So she'll dive in and out. If you were trying to chase her as a shark, if you keep losing her, she'd disappear out of view. And you can see just with Leonie herself doing this, that's just one sea lion, and look at all the waves and the bubbles she's causing. So if they did this as a whole raft, a whole group, then